what I want to say is how lucky we all are. It's a beautiful day. Thank you all so much for coming today to help us celebrate the creation of Bonny-brook, which is a level 3 Energy Star housing facility created for independent seniors aged 62 and older. It's been a very long time coming to this very happy moment. It's actually quite moving, I think. We all gather here today finally realizing the shared dream of providing affordable housing, elderly housing in Cornwall, an idea held by so many over so many years, and we have so many people to thank. So I'll try to be brief. I'll start by remembering the few that we all could remember who back in the 1950s and 60s got together to try to figure out how whose perseverance and courage allowed her to hold the torch high enough for all of us to finally see, after so many options were weighted and fell short, that there was land that could be secured here next to the Cornwall Bridge store, which met all the myriad requirements to build a place for Cornwall's older housing, oldest residents. Our past president, who led us far into the process that brought us here. Wynne Cavanaugh, our past treasurer. Maggie Cooley, our vice president and indefatigable secretary. Marie Prentice, Ella Clark, Jerry Blakey, Tracy Hewitt, Hannah Grossman, Patrick Mulberry, and last but not least, Denny Frost, who has been on this path since this group met back in the middle of the last century. I'd like to introduce someone, actually I'm not sure I'm going to be able to introduce this person, but I don't know that our other roving dignitaries are with us today. So it's all on you. I'd like to introduce someone who allowed so many of us to appear more capable and smart about how all this goes together than we are. We would have been up Bonny-brook without a paddle, or a canoe without the unflagging can-do attitude and insight of the man who led us through all the challenges and made it all look like a walk in the park. David Berto from Housing Enterprises Incorporated from Enfield, I believe.
Yes.
Has been a beacon of encouragement and wherewithal through thick and thin. I'm very pleased to invite David to give us a few thoughts about today.
Thank you all. See you. Good notes.
I didn't give you time.
Isn't this great? That's all I have to say. Isn't this great?
Yes, it is.
Because it is great. It is great. And me and my company help small groups do this around the state because it's hard and it's complicated and there's details that nobody else can sort of learn one time. But the reason this occurred is really in this room here. The reason this occurred is the first thing you have to have is you have to have a really dedicated, focused group of people in the local community that makes this work and has been working at this for years and generates the organization, generates the support, and also the whole community support. All of that was so important to make this happen. And then the second aspect of making things successful is you have to do what's right. And this is what's right. This is exactly what is necessary. This is exactly what's appropriate. This was designed with that in mind. We were able to show the funders that this was exactly the right thing and they loved it. So the group really came together, decided what was right. And then it's still hard. So the other aspect of this is really perseverance. If you don't have perseverance, these things don't happen. There was years and years of trials and stumbling and refocusing and reorganizing and then figuring out how to get this designed and how to get this approved and how to get this funded. And the group and the community was there for that entire thing all the way through to today. So, with the local people doing what's right and perseverance, that makes my job a lot easier because that's what we need to do to show the funders that they should provide the funding to allow this to occur. And that's what happened. It happened because of all the other things that were done by the local group to do the right thing and have the perseverance to push it through. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled with this. I'm thrilled with the group. I've always been thrilled with the group. And I'm so thrilled.
Purchase the tax credits from our HUD commitment, which gave us some of the funds to strike out into the not insignificant costs of realizing this place we call Bonny-brook. Unfortunately, Tommy Dorsey didn't make it today. But I do want to tell you that I remember dragging my kids to the Christmas tree display at Home Depot to meet with Tom, who gave me a very big check towards Bonny-brook under a balsam tree. My children gained a view of somewhat unrealistic about the spirit of giving from Tom Dorsey. And I'm sorry he's not here to share his thoughts. He was a real early, whatever it takes, I'll meet you wherever you need to go. Let's make this happen. And I'm also sorry that we're not able to introduce you to Roberta Willis, who is going to be with us this evening, our state representative. So I'm simply going to say again that I think this is a remarkable day for all the right reasons, and I'm very grateful that you're all here. And have a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
husband, Kenneth Mers, had been first selectman of the town of Cornwall. And Bernice was a widow, and she was also very public spirited. So we were able to acquire the parking lot for the firehouse. Bernice had to make sure we put a stake up on the hill so she knew exactly where the point was. It had to be 6 feet tall so you could see it from the road. We put it up there, and everything was fine. We got that. Then she came into the office one day and said, well, Gordon, I've got the rest of the land there. I don't really know what to do with it. What does the town want to do with it? I said, well, I'll have to think about that. And having been on the Housing Corporation and times being what they were, it's the same they are now, is that housing was a big thing for the town. So originally we looked at this for parcel programs, owner-built houses. And unfortunately the land up there is wet, has some nice natural features, but isn't prime building land. And then there was